moved one single person, which was a young female student who was actually her daily movement from her place to the university for within a year. So what actually they realized in this map, which was actually these are the different districts of Paris, it was that she didn't really experience anything else at that time of the year. Most of you, I'm pretty sure that you take the same route every day to come to the uni or to the college, with no much difference in this. It's very convenient, so you don't actually try to go from another direction, etc. Because you may think that it will take longer and all this stuff. But what they were saying is, what kind of experience this person would have of Paris if the only thing that she does is this one thing here, or this one. So kind of linear. So there was not actually circular, there were no curves in her movements, nothing else. So that's where they proposed the idea of the psychogeography, moving into different environments, in a sense, through the derive, trying to explore your emotions by moving to the different, let's say, districts, and exploring the unknown, in a sense. So psychogeography here they were proposed, that is a hidden landscape of atmospheres, histories, actions, and characters with charged environments. And so they propose the psychogeographic map. I'm saying all this because it's a good way to have an overall idea to see how later on there is lots of connection between the psychogeographic map and GPS maps, or not every GPS map obviously, but for instance we have even projects like we saw the biomapping by Chris Snow, who uses ideas similar with psychogeography. So it's an attempt to disrupt existing representations and convey different visions of the city. By representations I meant the existing street maps. We're proposing something else here, a different type of a street map. Well, I'll show you. The integration of past present artistic production into a superior environmental construction in which fragments of existing works are taken and rearranged or juxtaposed to produce new meanings. So for instance, in a very indirect way, we could say that one of Chris's projects, which is actually the overlapping of the different maps of Edinburgh, this is a 19th century map of Edinburgh.
Yeah, this is 19th and 20th, yeah.
You know, juxtaposed in the present, you know, existing landscape creates almost this concept, maybe we could kind of, I don't know if Chris agrees.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
I want to take over and say this is what you're doing. But somehow, yes. So here you have one of their sort of, let's say, ideas, although this is taken from a kind of a recent psychogeographic website, the British Association of Psychogeographers, which in fact exists. We have a couple of those, I think one in Birmingham, London, and probably, this is Manchester, I'm not sure about the Manchester, although there was the largest conference of psychogeography a couple of years ago was in Manchester. So they're still present. So you actually, what you do, you create random routes. So if you take, let's say, the glass and you draw the circle around the glass and you try to walk this particular route, what will happen, first of all, if it is random? The cities are not made in circles in the sense of the streets, but they are kind of square. So first of all, you will find obstacles, buildings. You will find places that there were no way to go about, to go through. So they were proposing ways to overcome these obstacles, trying to expose yourself into the danger thing, the dangers of trying to trespass, and what will happen through that. If there is a building, how could you actually go through the building? Could you climb so you could start actually having a complete vertical experience of the map then? Which is why, for instance, psychogeography and situationism was later being as well used as a way to kind of explore concepts behind skateboarding and parkour, for instance, nowadays. So there is a book actually written by a professor of architecture, Ian Borden, which is the city, the body, or architecture, the city, and skateboarding, or something like that, which is in multiple copies in the library. So his name is Ian Borden. So here you have one of their proposed maps. So what they did actually, with the form of the collage and the montage, they cut a street map of Paris, and they start stitching the different districts or arrondissements around here. And the arrows were actually the ways to communicate or to commute from one to the other. Because what they were saying is that the streets were mostly or mainly for car commuting. So walkers couldn't actually, passers-by could move freely through the different districts. By having them as such, they were proposing that by hiding the streets, trying to explore them, trying to find ways to move around the city and explore it. And here you have another one of a similar concept, the naked city, which in fact the name was taken by 30s or 40s film noir with the same name. The other one, which is quite the fourth, probably, yes, the fourth term that they coined was détournement, or otherwise subversion, subverting, changing. So here I have something which is more recent to give you a more kind of a visual example that comes closer to our times, is this one, the culture jamming. So culture jamming is exactly subversion. So you take, let's say something, an idea, which is the Nike sort of advertisements, so you have the existing art object and you change the logo, you change the concept behind the logo. And what you do here is just blow it. You have a homeless person and wearing the Nike. So the concept is that you're trying to create a political message against globalization, against actually social exclusion, etc., through all these commodified products itself. So this comes closer to these ideas. And quite a lot of this idea of the subversion has been used as well with some of the projects that I'll show you. Okay, so that's it. Détournement is a subversion, devaluation, and reuse of present and past cultural production, destroying its message while hijacking its impact. Okay. And obviously, as I said, they were against high modernism. Like, some of this is in Brasilia, I think. Actually, what time actually do we finish? Is this 10:30 or?
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are 20 minutes, and I just want to go closer to nowadays anyway, because I haven't even touched that. But let's say and go to the kind of the most interesting part probably for us here today is the unitary urbanism. This is actually what came out of this project, of this idea of the unitary urbanism, the New Babylon, which was proposed by Constance Neuhaus, one of the key figures in situationism. In fact, he was an abstract painter who was also an amateur architect, they would call him. He created, I think, hundreds of maquettes of the New Babylon, and even, 3D maquettes,